Hey, welcome everybody. Here we are, Game 10 of our 1979 Mets replay, the lovable loser replay. Mets lost 99 games in 79, and right now we are on an 8-game losing streak. This is the first game of a 3-game series in Philadelphia, and on the mound for the Phils is Dick Ruthven, facing Craig Swan for the Mets. We are joining the action in the the top of the fifth, and it's going to be Steve Henderson, Richie Hebner, and Lee Mazzilli. Lee Mazzilli moved from the first spot to the fourth spot to try to see if we can drum up a little bit of offense. And right now, as the score stands, it's Mets 2 and Phils 1. We are in the top of the fifth. There's nobody out, and we join the action. Dick Ruthven, that's an 8. We're using payoff pitch. That's tough on Henderson's card. It's a tough 15. That's a strikeout. The high cheese got him. It's a force in play to Hebner. 67. Hebner's a lefty batter. Batted 291 versus righties. And that's a 67. That's going to be in the out range of our in play. 67 is going to be a grounded to short. Larry Boa throws him out. I'm all right. I'm using a 10-inch iPad to keep score, which is out of the view. It's an 8. So that's going to be tough. Tough on Mazzilli's card is a 27. A tough 27 is a strikeout. Curveball got him. And Craig Swan climbs the hill for the Mets. He's going to be facing Bob Boone. Bob Boone is 0 for 1. He flied out. That's an 11. That's patient. Patience always trouble for a pitcher. 99. Not in this case. 99 is going to be a pop-up. And that's Willie Montanez using the modifier. Infield fly modifier. That's on Sideline Strategies, Delphi. You can find out all about that there. It's a pitcher. Dick Ruthven, that's a 6 in play. An in play 57 on a 5 is going to be the out range. It's a fly ball lifted to right. Joel Youngblood in right field for the Mets. Puts it away. And now with 2 out, it's Bake McBride. Tough. A tough 81. And this is going to be a 1-2-3 inning. That's lifted to center, Mazzilli. Out number 3. Crowd goes wild for Mazzilli. He's popular here in Philadelphia, as you can see. We're using the fast action cards to guide us on hits, where they are, location, errors, range, hits, outs, stolen bases, sacrifice bunts. So that bypasses our need for charts. We've looked at the chart one time today. I've got it down to about 1 or 2 times per game. We looked at a rare play chart. Actually, we did, no, I looked at it twice. One for a rare play and another time for a stolen base to gauge catcher, base runner speed. So there's a lot of Mets fans here in Philadelphia. And it's Willie Montanez facing Ruthven. Top of the 6th, 2-1 Mets lead. 7. Mets are going to need a couple more runs against this Philly offense, that's for sure. So it's a 7 in play 85. That's going to be out range. It's going to be ground ball short, chop to Trio. Trio throws him out. Johnny Stearns. That's tough, a 41. A tough 41 is going to be a base hit for Stearns. So Stearns grounds one hard up the middle, and it gets through. So Stearns is on at first, and Stearns is going to try to steal. We're looking for a 5. No, it's a 10. So no stolen base attempt for John Stearns here. And that's a 4. That's in play for Joel Youngblood. An 85. In play 85 is take us to the out range. That's going to be grounded as short with a 4. That's a short double play. And it is a short double play. It's going to be a 6-4-3 double play, and the Phils are out of the inning. 6-4-3 double play, out, double play. So right now, line score is Mets 2 runs, 7 hits, no errors, 5 left on base. Phillies 1 run, 4 hits, no errors, 3 left on base. So Craig Swan is hanging in there. Now, Craig Swan had a pretty good season. I don't know if you realize that, but Craig Swan was 14 and 13 with 3.29 ERA. It's patient to Boa, a 46. A patient 46 puts Boa on with a triple. That ball is lined, pulled down the line, and that's going to roll around in the corner. Joel Youngblood kind of has trouble getting it and picks it up, and Boa around second. Here goes the throw, the relay to third, and he is safe. So Boa triples to lead off. So the Mets are going to have to bring the infield in on this here against Pete Rose. Pete Rose, a contact hitter. Definitely don't want to put anybody on. It's I guess it's a 4. That's in play. Infield in 46. So we're going to have to use the chart on this one, maybe, perhaps. Let's see. 4 is in play 46. In play 46 is going to be a fly ball to the outfield. Fly ball short right field, and they're going to respect Joe Youngblood's arm. So 1 away. And Boa holds up at third. Infield is still in. It's going to be Greg Luzinski. Now, he has a tendency to strike out. That's in play. An in play 30. That's going to be a single. It's going to say line drive into left field. So runners advance 1 base. RBI single game is now tied. Greg Luzinski comes through for the Phils. Oh, that 30. Wait a second. That 30 could have been a wild pitch, but no. There you go. So runner on first. Luzinski will not try to steal. Let me see. Actually, he may try to steal. No, he does not. All right. Schmidt, that's a 3. That's defense. A defense 98. That's going to be, there's nowhere on a hit or a error. That's a 98 here. So that's going to be an out. We're going to find out to who. And we look here. It's the pitcher. Pitcher grabs it, fields his position. Oh, and you know what? We got to find out. Could be a potential. So a grounder to the pitcher here, and out. Infield grounder, fielder's choice. So the pitcher is going to turn around quickly and throws the throw back to first, not in time. Fielder's choice. All right, so it's a 1-6. And Ray Luzinski forced out at second. And now Mike Schmidt. Mike Schmidt's going to potentially try to steal. No. And Gary Maddox, 8. It's tough. A tough 44, and that's going to be a hit. And that says runner advances 1 base or potentially more. And the ball is into opposite liner. So he's a righty, went into right field. So the right fielder, Youngblood, let's take a quick look at Youngblood's arm. Youngblood has a pretty decent arm, 5, so we're not going to try for third right now. I'm not going to try for third. We're going to just hold up at second base. Just keep it simple. All right, keep it simple, stupid. That's what I say. And Manny Trio batted 261 now. There's some action. There's some movement in the Mets bullpen right now. This inning seems to be extending itself. So Craig Swan with 2 outs is going to pitch to Manny Trio. Here's the pitch. It's an 8. An 8 is tough, so we should be okay with that. 79. 79 is going to be a fly ball lifted to center, and that's Lee Mazzilli. Makes the catch again. The crowd gives him a nice hand. And the game is tied. So Phillies pick up the tying run on the Luzinski single here in the bottom of the 6th. Go to the top of the 7th. It's a 2-2 game. Pretty good game here between the Phillies and the Mets. The Mets are on an 8-game losing streak. And that's a 4. That's in play. An in play 87 is going to take us to the out range. That's a grounder. Chop to Boa. Boa throws him out. So that was Doug Flynn. Grounds to Boa. We got some kind of weird thing going on here with the music, so we're going to stop that a second. Find out why that's happening. Should not have that. Not there yet. Baseball. Redoing the sound. 10 hours of baseball sounds. All right. Where were we? Ground ball to short for Flynn. And he hustled down that line, and the crowd responds to the hustle. All right, so it's going to be the pitcher here in the top of the seventh. This is a tough decision here. Let's see. Let's look at the stats for this game. I'll look at the stats for this game real quick to see. This was first game played. Oh no, this is the third game played. Wait a second. All right, first game played is the 20th, April 20th, and April 20th is yeah. Let's say what day it is. April 20th, 1979. Friday, April 20th at Veterans Stadium. And Mets are going to bring in, let's see, Hodges. If I bring in Hodges, then I have to go to bullpen. Bullpen is Twitchell, Bernard, Orozco. They're a disaster, man. So this game is lost for sure. The only way I can potentially keep this game in check is if Swan stays in. So we're gonna try to keep Swan in there. Swan's gonna bat. It's an 11. That's defense. That's actually pretty good. 92. That's nowhere near any hits or errors. That's all out of range there on the veteran on the ballpark card. So we're going to pull a card to see who made the out, and it's center fielder, chases it down. Nice running catch by Gary Maddox. Didn't look like he was going to get there for a second, but he's got good range. Maddox in center field. I believe he was a Gold Glove winner. Double check that. Kelvin Chapman has he batted 136 from the right side or versus righties, and he happens to have 2 hits today. He's 2 for 3, 2 singles off the same number. The first 2 at bats. And that's a 6. That's going to be in play to Chapman. 0-6. Oh, here may be another one. Again, in play, right? And an 0-6 is going to be a base hit. So another hit. 3 hits for, I think those are the first 3 hits in the 10 games that he's played. So Chapman is on, and he's not even going to try to steal because he's a deep base stealer. Never had a stolen base, never had a caught stealing. So Steve Henderson here with 2 outs in the top of the 7th versus Ruthven. That's a 5. That's patient. So that's an advantage. It's at 13. A patient 13 is going to be a base on ball. So Henderson works the count and manages to get the first. Richie Hebner. Now Hebner is 1 for 3. He doubled early in the game, driving in the 2 Mets runs in the 3rd inning. So he's been clutch for the Mets. So let's see if he can do it here again. And that's an 8. That's going to be tough. So we're going to need a 31 to a 46. A 30 would be a 81. That's nowhere near. That's an out. That's a fly ball lifted to center. Gary Maddox, a few steps back, makes the catch. That's all she wrote for the Mets. The Mets leave 2 on in a 2-2 game. Pitching duel here today. Both pitchers dealing. Correct Swan. It's a 10. That's patient. Not what we wanted to see, but an 86 is going to be in Swan's favor. An 86 is a ground that's short. Flynn playing short today. Throws out. Boone. Next is going to be Dick Ruthven. And he's a 5. He rolled an 8. That's tough. A 0-2. That's a strikeout. And Bake McBride. That's a 3. That's defense. A defense 19. We're going to have to pull a card for that because defense 19 is going to be error 5. And that is a potential error for sure. And Richie Hebner, let's see what kind of third baseman he is. See what his E rating is. His E rating is a 2. So that's going to be an error on Hebner for sure. Higher is better. Goes from 5 to 1. And what kind of an error? It says third baseman. It's going to be a 1 base error. So basically, he just boots the ball. And with 2 outs now, uh, Hebner makes an error, and you have Big McBride, who has good speed, and he's going to see if he can take off. And no, he does not. So it's going to be Larry Boa, switch hitter. It's a 6 in play, an in play 25. And oh, look at that. That's right outside the hit range. That takes it to the out range, and that's ground ball right back to Swan. Feels his position and throws out Larry Boa for out number 3. We go to the top of the 8th, and it's a 2-2 game. The Mets are experiencing an 8-game losing streak, so they're not happy about that, that's for sure. Man, they'd like to pull this one out. This would be a boost for their morale and a boost for mine. My lovable losers are bringing me down here. All right, so Dick Ruthen, it's a 7. It's in play to Mazzilli, a 91, an in play 91. That's way in the out range. That's a ground that's short. Boa to his left, guns it to first, and gets Mazzilli by half a step. Willie Montanez is 0 for 3. Ruthen, tough. A tough 35 is a strikeout. Montanez down on strikes. And now it's John Stearns. It's an 11 defense and 0-5. That's an error for sure, just to see who. It's on the third baseman. Now we're going to see what kind of error. I think it's, what kind of error is it on the third baseman? It's a drop foul ball. So if it's a foul ball, he doesn't get on base. Okay, so it's an E5, but nobody gets on base. So how do I do that? Never done that before. There's an error. Let's see. 5. Fastball defensive error. So a wild pitch on the throw. Ball out of play. Okay, there you go. Oh no, but they put Stearns on first. So I got to do that. Try that one more time. Otherwise, I'm just gonna let it roll and just write in the error later on. There must be a way of doing that. Let's see, error 5. And then it says, what happened to the batter? Held up, wild pitch, ball out of play, obstruction, caught stealing with error. Ball out of play shouldn't put him at first base. That's what I don't understand. He's not out. Advanced batter. Huh. Let me look at miscellaneous. There's something called miscellaneous. Assign error. Oh yeah, okay, assign error. 5. There you go. So I assigned an error to the third baseman, but Stearns is still at bat. Okay, under miscellaneous. I have a video out there that shows you how to use iScore, how to set it up. I try to take my time with it, and I haven't gotten many comments on it. I don't know if it's good or if it's bad or if it's too quick or too slow. I don't know. I try to really kind of show people how to do it step by step for people that are not really tech savvy. All right, so it's tough. John Stearns, a 33, tough 33, and that's going to be a ball hit up the middle and through to center field for a base hit. So Stearns is on with a single with 2 outs, and Stearns is always a threat to steal, but not in this case. And it's Joel Youngblood now, and that's a 3. That's patient 49. A patient 49. It's going to be a hit. Joel Youngblood gets a single, and runner advances 2 bases. So Stearns hustles over to third on this. And now it's Doug Flynn. Now Doug Flynn batted .259 against lefties, but .236 against righties. And we're going to actually pinch hit for Flynn here. Going to pinch hit for Flynn. Going to bring in, let's see, who, Hodges. Now Hodges is not the best hitter in the world, but he's one of the guys who played in this game. And then a guy named Frank Taveras comes in to play with the Mets. And I think Taveras was the Mets shortstop. From this point on, Doug Flynn takes over at second. And I think they pull Kelvin Chapman, who just hit 136 against righties. So he's actually acquired in a trade with the, this is Taveras. He's going to come in to play shortstop. Frank Taveras. Now he's acquired in a trade with the Pirates involving Tim Foley, who goes on to have a great year. Tim Foley ends up batting like about 291 versus righties, whereas Taveras 268. Now Taveras is a base stealing threat, but back in the 70s, what I've noticed is that players all have they have a high caught stealing frequency. Nowadays, you want to be like 42, stolen bases with 6 caught stealings. You want to have a really high percentage. But back then, they just ran. Whether they got caught or not, they were running. It was more of like a fearless type of baseball. Now they have to pick and choose their spots, and they're so careful. And anyway, and the guys that get caught too often just don't steal anymore. Whereas here, look at this. He had 42 stolen bases, but almost 20 caught stealing. So that's fascinating. Anyway, so it's gonna be Ron Hodges is gonna come in. He's a lefty, and Ruthven. There's action in the Phillies bullpen, but we're gonna leave Ruthven in just to see what happens. It's a close game, 2-2. There's 2 outs, and it's gonna be Hodges at the plate for Flynn. And we're looking up his name here. There he is. All right. Here's the pitch to Hodges. That's a 9. That's tough. A tough 48. Tough 48. Oh my goodness gracious. You're not going to believe it. A tough 48 off Hodges. Let's look at that. A tough off Ruthven. And then we rolled a 48. And a 48 is going to be a drive down the line into right field, bouncing around out there, and Bake McBride gets it in quick to Trio. Scoring is Stearns. Around third is Youngblood. No throw to the plate, throw to second, and Hodges is in with a double. A 2-run, 2-out double for pinch hitter Ron Hodges, who batted 163 versus right-handed pitchers. That's what makes this game great. Not in my, farthest imagination would I have thought that Ron Hodges would pinch hit 163 average versus right-handed pitchers. Ron Hodges pinch hits for Doug Flynn in the top of the 8th inning in a 2-2 game, strokes a double down the line, scoring 2 runs. The Mets are up 4-2 now, and Ron Hodges is a hero in my book. Now it's the pitcher, Craig Swan. Again, we have a decision to make, and oh boy, we're gonna keep Swan in there, man, because Swan has been dealing, and Swan has been dealing. Now Youngblood scored from first base with two outs on a double, because he's a 7. Anything 6 or higher, according to the rules, they score. So I love that rule, that modification, if you will. So Swan's gonna bat. You can't lose Swan. That's a 10 ballpark. A 48. Swan is a righty, so that falls in the wheelhouse range, and that's a 68. That's out of range. That's going to be the out. That's going to be the 3rd out of the inning. Fly ball to Gary Maddox. But the Mets do some damage, particularly thanks to Ron Hodges. We're going to pull his card, come out of the game. Frankie Taveras is going to be playing short now. Going to write him in. This is his first game of Met. He actually plays in this game. April 20th. And Frank Taveras, so a right-handed batter, 3-error D range, so not very good range for a guy that's really fast. But he's going to be the new shortstop for the Mets. So we should start seeing him in the lineup. That should give us a little bit of an offensive boost. I mean, he beats Flynn by 40 points, and Flynn is not a base stealing threat. Neither is Chapman, whereas Taveras is going to be running. So that's going to be exciting. So Taveras is there. Actually, there we go. And now it's going to be Craig Swan. It's Pete Rose. So we have action in the Mets bullpen. And that's a 7. That's tough. A tough 0-6, and that's going to be a strikeout. This is the second time he struck out Pete Rose, who just doesn't strike out very often. Only a 1-15 versus righties. Greg Luzinski, he's 2 for 3. That's a 10. That's patient. A patient 52. That's going to take us into singles range. That's another single. Three hits for Greg Luzinski. He's on at first. Not much of a base runner. Mike Schmidt, always dangerous. 1-70. If we roll in his wheelhouse, we're looking at a 1-70 for a home run. That's 70% chance. So we definitely don't want to roll a 2 or a 12 right now. And it's an 8. That's tough. So that's where we want to be. A tough 20 is a strikeout. High hard one. Craig Swan dealing. Strikes out Mike Schmidt with a runner on. Mike Schmidt with a tying run. 4-2 Mets lead here in the bottom of the 8th. This is an opportunity for the Mets to break their 8-game losing streak. So I'm excited about this. And now it's Gary Maddox. Now Gary Maddox is trouble. He's a 294 hitter versus righties. And that's a 4. That's in play. And in play 11 is going to be a single. So Maddox is both a threat to steal and a plus batter. So that's going to move Luzinski to second. We're going to actually check Luzinski's numbers. Luzinski's, not Mike Schmidt. Luzinski's a 4. We checked that. So he's not going to advance on that rule, but we're going to pull another rule, see where the ball is. Single runner advances 1 base. Okay, so Luzinski stops at second. We have first and second now. It's going to be Manny Trio. Let's take a look. We have a couple. We have a guy named Greg Gross that could pinch hit. Del Unser could pinch hit. So let's take a quick look. Neither of them pinch hit in the game. We have a guy named Makinen. So Del Unser, 308 versus lefties. Del Unser's a heck of a batter, heck of a player. We're gonna bring in versus Manny Trio. Manny Trio 261. And he's a B range. He's like their main go-to guy. So I don't know that. So Del Unser, if we get to the pitcher, we're gonna bring in. Let me see. Yeah, Trio wasn't pinch hit for. You know what? We're gonna bring in Del Unser. We're gonna make the move. We're gonna make the move there, and then we're gonna. I think a guy named Makinen can play second base. I think we got a guy named Makinen here. Don't see him. We have a lot of cards, a lot of pitching cards, especially a lot of pitching cards. Don't have Makinen in here, so who would play second base if we pull Trio here in this situation? Oh, Rudy Mioli. Ramon Aviles. But Harrelson, another guy could play second base. I don't know who is in. Okay. You know what? We're gonna let Trio bat. I mean, he's not a bad hitter. He bats 260. So we're gonna let Trio bat. We really don't know. And Del Unser will be a pinch hitter for Manny Trio. I'm not for the pitcher, if the pitcher comes up. 3. So that's defense. That's trouble. We want to roll real high right here, because otherwise it's not going to be good. We rolled a 29, not what we want. Definitely not what we want. Let's see what happens when we pull a card. So it's defense. It's going to be an error at third base. Richie Hebner is at third. Now we're going to have to pull Hebner and look at Hebner's error rating. Hebner is a 2 error rating, which is not very good. So now we're going to have to pull a card. 29, a 2 is going to be an error. So it's an error for sure. We're going to see what kind of error it is. On the third baseman, it's a 1 base error. So again, he boots it. I think this is his second error of the game from memory. And everybody holds. In other words, moves up a base, but they don't advance beyond that. So the bases are now loaded, and it's Bob Boone. Bob Boone batted 264, 342 against lefties. Okay, so this is serious trouble here for Swanee with the bases loaded. And let's look and see. The Mets, Twitchell, this was not even, was this a close game in reality? Let's see. In reality, this game was 8-0 Philadelphia. So I'm going to look for the closer, the Mets closer right now. And I think the Mets closer may be Lockwood. Let's see. Lockwood has 9 saves. Let's see if anybody else has more saves than Lockwood. The saves are spread all over the place. Neil Allen, he has 8 saves. And he pitched just the other day. 7 saves for Ed Glynn, a lefty. He pitched 46 games with the Mets. But he's a righty batting. So the Mets are a mess. As you can see, they're a total mess. Neil Allen, a righty, at 355, and Skip Lockwood, a righty, at 149. So I way rather bring in Skip Lockwood, but I don't know that they did that, or they were doing that at that time. So we're going to roll to see. Even it's Neil Allen, odd it's Skip Lockwood. We rolled a 6, so it's Neil Allen. So Neil Allen is going to try to get Craig Swan out of trouble. All right, so he's going to face Bob Boone, righty versus righty. See what happens here. Bases are loaded. Mets are trying to break their 8-game losing streak. The pitch from Allen, it's not going to be cocked. It's going to be an 11. That's ballpark. That's ballpark, so we're going to roll, and that's a 65. A right hand, that's in range by 1, so that's going to put it into Boone's wheelhouse. So that is bad news for the Mets. Big bad news for the Mets, because 1-44, a 44% chance that this is some sort of hit. And with Maddox's second and his speed, he'll score no matter what. So the game will be tied if we roll anything less than a 45. And that ball is a deep drive to left field. Back goes Henderson to the track, to the wall. It's out of here. Grand slam. Bob Boone. My goodness. Neil Allen wishes he had that pitch back. So the Phillies now lead by a score of 6-4, and the Mets are devastated. A 2-out comeback here in the bottom of the 8th. Neil Allen comes in, 1 pitch, gopher ball to Bob Boone. And, man, what can we say? It looks like the Mets, unless the Mets have some miraculous comeback in the top of the 9th, it looks like the Mets' hard times will continue. Here's the pitcher now. That's a 7. That's a tough. And a 28. A tough 28 is a strikeout. Ruthven down on strikes for out number 3. But the damage has been done. And that's an understatement. Grand slam home run by Bob Boone in the bottom of the 8th. Gives the Phils the lead, a 4-2, a 6-4 lead, excuse me, a 6-4 lead. And up in the top of the 9th, it's going to be Kelvin Chapman leading it off. Chapman today is 3 for 4. But Chapman, let me tell you, batted 136 versus righties. We're going to try to get Ruthven to go the distance. Actually, you know what? He had only 3 complete games. So we're going to pull Ruthven, and we're going to bring in, oh, this was one of his complete games. He actually pitched a 5-hit shutout. All right. So I really don't know who to bring in, so we're going to leave Ruthven in there. It really doesn't matter. 4, this game's over. In play, a 62, and in play 62 is an outrange. Grounded a second, Manny Trio. Henderson. That's a 9. Tough. And that's a 67. A tough 67 is a base hit. Henderson pulls one into left. Luzinski gets it in. So Henderson is on at first. There'll be no base stealing at this point. Richie Hebner. And we're gonna have to look and see who the Phils have. Who the Phils have as a closer. We don't know that. Wait a second. This is the pitching side. Oh, Tug McGraw. Gotta believe. So Tug McGraw is gonna come in. I'm gonna call on Tug McGraw to pitch. And he's gonna, there we go. All right, so Tug McGraw gets called in. He's going to face Hebner. And here's the pitch to Richie Hebner. That's an 8. That's ballpark. A ballpark 17 for a lefty puts it in the wheelhouse. So it's a 1-11. This game is tied. Richie Hebner. Oh, baby. I thought I saw 10. I think it just rolled over just like that. All right, 90. That's a ground ball second base. And with that 8, it's going to be within range there. So we're looking at a 4-6-3 double play. Game is over. Mets lose number 9. Wow, heartbreaking. This is going to take me a while to get over this loss. It'll take me about an hour until I can get the next game going. So that's it, man. Final score of what a crazy game. 22 hits, 10 runs, 3 errors total. And I loved it. Oh, what a great game that was. Okay, I was excited till the end, thinking the Mets were going to pull this one out. And I pulled Craig Swan. Now, if I would have left Craig Swan in there, that 11 row would have been a patient. So it would have extended the inning. We don't know what would happen. Then we would have brought in Unser, who was a 290 hitter. But anyway, I brought in Neil Allen, who threw one pitch, and Bob Boone drove it over the left field wall for a grand slam home run, which did not make the Mets fans here at Veterans Stadium, who came out from Flushing, Queens, to see the Mets, happy at all. So let's do the line score and let's say goodbye. It's Mets 4 runs, 12 hits, 2 errors, 8 left on base. The Phillies, big comeback in the bottom of the 8th. Bob Boone's grand slam, 6 runs, 10 hits, 1 error, 6 left on base. That's it for Payoff Pitch. Hope you're liking the game. It's a great game. It's real fluid. The mechanics are great. Cards are gorgeous. Can't say anything. Chart list, I think I looked at the chart 3 times the whole game. So that's it. I'll be back with game 2 of the Mets Phillies in a little while. Just going to get it started, look up the lineups and write them into iScore and so forth.